So the new season of Doctor Who is now officially less than a week away. Yes, this time next week we'll all be dissecting the first two episodes of this new run, Space Babies and The Devil's Cord. But this week Doctor Who fans have been debating something quite different, and I've seen a lot of kind of discussion and discourse about this online. So the fan news site Doctor Who TV, which I used to use quite a bit but not so much anymore, ran an article with the headline, "RTD wanted Sonic Screwdriver changed because he was worried it looked too much like a gun before." Obviously with reference to the new Sonic Screwdriver design for shooting outward for the 15th Doctor, which, yeah, is quite different to its predecessors. It turns out they're actually quoting from an article by Alan Sepinwall for Rolling Stone. It's about time shooting outward on becoming the new face of Doctor Who, basically an article about the new era and an interview with Russell T Davies. And rather frustratingly, although the article does contain quotes from Russell about various things, the bit about the Sonic Screwdriver, the paragraph about the Sonic, actually just paraphrases something he said. It doesn't give any direct quote or Russell's words, it just sums it up in the writer's own words. Doctor Who has always been socially progressive, but the commentary this time around seems even more pointed than Davis's last stints. The Doctor's trusty Sonic Screwdriver has been redesigned to resemble a remote control or flip phone, because Davis worried that the old Sonic looked too much like a gun, which would encourage kids to pretend to shoot at one another. So a lot of people saw that and kind of thought, hang on a minute, like, what's this about? Isn't this a bit, of a strange thing to say? It's quite a pointed way of saying it, admittedly quite a blunt way of saying it. But actually I saw that and I thought, yeah, okay, there's some kind of truth in that. Like, hear me out. Like, obviously the Sonic Screwdriver, has a very different function to a gun, and that's a kind of big point of Doctor Who and has been over the years, how this is a very different hero, an unconventional hero, a hero who has a Sonic Screwdriver rather than a gun, who uses their brains and their wits and everything, rather than just like resorting to violence and stuff like that. There's even a quote from Stephen Moffat when he was talking about the Doctor once and the different attributes of the Doctor and the things that make the Doctor, a very different type of hero to like action heroes traditionally, and he literally says, they didn't give him a gun, they gave him a screwdriver. But on the other hand, I can sort of see where Russell is coming from here, I think, in terms of Sonic being something that you point at something or someone else, like you would with a weapon, like with a gun or a sword or something, and not to get into it too much, but like the kind of the phallic connotations of all that sort of stuff as well. It all kind of comes from the same sort of place. And for the avoidance of doubt, Alan Sepinwall has since posted on his Substack the exact quote as it appeared when he interviewed Russell. So this is what Russell actually had to say himself, in his own words. "Oh, that was largely me. I love that new Sonic. This new Doctor for 2024, I worry that sometimes the old Sonic starts to look like a gun, like a weapon that gets pointed like a weapon. And I wanted to just cool that down and check that out. That works brilliantly in an action-adventure show. But actually, let's just take the heat off that. Little boys running around the yard playing with that. There's other ways to do it, and I think this is a thing of beauty now." So again with that, I don't particularly see an issue with what is being said there, actually. Like, there is some truth to what Russell is saying there. Is it being slightly exaggerated perhaps a little bit, or taken out of context, or made a bigger thing of than it actually is? Yeah, maybe, okay, fair enough. I mean, of course, this new Sonic, like I say, is a huge departure. I remember seeing it for the first time the night that the Giggle had aired afterwards. I think there was like a video going around on Twitter or one of the socials or something where Shooty had the Sonic and was kind of introducing it to viewers. And I saw that and I thought, like what? Hang on a minute, what is this? And like the photos of him holding it and stuff, the photos of it there as well, looking, like people have said, very much like a kind of TV remote or a mobile phone, like a flip phone or something like that. And admittedly, I wasn't won over by that to begin with. I kind of saw it and thought, obviously, it's a very beautifully designed prop. It's a very beautiful prop. Looks very nice, very classy, very smart, very swish. But is it a Sonic Screwdriver? Now, of course, we have seen it in action a little bit on TV, but even then, it wasn't massively used in the Church from Ruby Road. Obviously, in this new season, we're going to see it a lot more, and we've seen it in the trailers and stuff. There have even been hints that there are different colour variants of this particular Sonic Screwdriver design, so like different props and stuff, like a red one, a yellow one, God knows what else, like a whole kind of spectrum of different Sonics in different colours, like the metallic bit being a different tint each time, which is going to be great for merchandise and stuff, and making us buy this thing over and over again. On the subject of merchandise, I think the fact that the toy hasn't been released for this Sonic yet also kind of contributes towards that sort of slightly cool feeling towards this new design. Like, if people had had a chance to see it in the flesh and in hand and kind of just see it for themselves a bit more, I think that would have definitely helped them kind of come round to the idea of this new design. Ultimately, personally speaking, to be honest, it bothers me less than it did, and it didn't bother me much to begin with, but now I'm kind of looking at it and I think, yeah, okay, like, fair game, go for it, go for a different design that kind of abandons this kind of whole pointy stick kind of tubular sort of approach to the Sonic. There's no particular reason why it does need to stick to that. It's like with the Davros thing as well, with other changes that Russell has made. Yes, they might seem a bit strange to begin with and a bit strange to get used to, but ultimately, does it really matter? No. And with this as well, having seen what Russell has said and some of the rationale behind it, and I'm sure that wasn't the only kind of rationale behind changing the design, but, it's certainly part of the thinking, it would seem. But having seen what he said there, yeah, fair enough, like, it makes sense. There is some truth to what he's saying there. Is it a bit direct or a bit blunt, or does it seem a bit strange? Yeah, okay, maybe. But ultimately, I think, it's a nice sort of side effect of this new Sonic, that it takes it away from those potential connotations, and that doesn't mean there's anything particularly wrong with the Sonics of old, by no means. I mean, Russell literally just introduced another Sonic screwdriver in that tradition, in that design, for the 14th Doctor, so I don't think there's a bigger point to it than that, or any bigger meaning to it than that, and I'm sure in the future we will see more conventional, more traditional Sonic screwdrivers again. This will by no means be the template for everything going forward. But certainly, as a kind of moment in time thing, for this particular era, for this particular Doctor, I can see the thinking there, it makes sense. I don't mind the fact that we don't have a conventional Sonic, that we have something that's more like kind of gadgets or a scanner or whatever it may be, Ultimately, I'm here for it, and I think a lot of the outrage about this on social media has been manufactured and in bad faith, and has been kind of taking Russell's words, or Russell's paraphrased words, out of context and kind of reading them in an unflattering, exaggerated way and jumping to conclusions and just all this sort of stuff. It's really not that deep. But what are your thoughts on this, on Russell's comments and the Sonic screwdriver, the new Sonic screwdriver more generally? It was unveiled 6 months ago now, my god. But nevertheless, we are about to see it in action a lot more in Season 1, and we have seen it in the Church on Ruby Road as well. So are you more on board with it than you were when it was announced, or not? If you have enjoyed this video, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new for more stuff like this in the future. But otherwise, until the next one, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye for now.